Okay? I want you to imagine for a second, okay? We all kind of know what it means to be filled up, and we get kind of the example and things like that. And Scripture says, be filled by the Spirit. We'll talk about what that looks like. I want you to imagine that this is us, right? And you come to God empty. And you recognize your emptiness. You recognize your need for God. And what does God in love do? He fills you up, okay? So God fills you up. And not only does He fill you up, but He begins to fill you to overflowing, right? When you get God in your life, you almost can't help but want to share that with people. It overflows your joy, right? You remember those moments when you first encountered God, you first asked God into your heart, and it was a feeling of overflowing. And we get a vision for that, and then we start to think about, well, what do I need to do in response? You know, what can I do to please the God who saved me? And we begin to pour our lives into other people, into the church, and into God's work. And we keep pouring, 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 and we keep pouring. And then one day we wake up, and we're empty. Right? Now here's the mistake we make. We try and do the impossible. We try and go, something's wrong here. I'm doing what I was doing before. I'm still trying to pour. But all of a sudden I realize I'm empty. I'm not filled with what God originally gave me. Now, we have two choices at that moment. Okay? You can go like this. Right? And try and shake a little bit more out of your life on your own effort. And I think that's what we do. Something's wrong here. I'm empty. I must not be pouring hard enough. So let me pour some more. There must be something left in there. Surely I can get a little bit more ministry out. Surely I can get a little bit more grace, a little bit more kindness, a little bit more goodness out of my life. Right? And God, in the meantime, is doing this. Right? And He may even be doing things around us. Okay? But what's the problem? You're still empty. If you're not being filled, there's only one thing you can do. Position yourself for God to fill you. And let Him fill you. Right? Now, we're about to get wet, aren't we? Okay? I'm not against pouring. I'm not against pouring. I think our only natural reaction to God filling us is to occasionally go out and pour our lives out. But even Jesus knew well enough to take a break every once in a while and get back to the Father and allow the Father to fill Him back up. Right? We don't do that very well these days for a lot of different reasons that we'll talk about. But we don't do that. And so we're going to talk about what does it mean to be filled by God. And we're going to trust in faith that if we allow God to fill us, He will. And we'll have plenty to overflow and get back to the business of pouring later. But what we can't do is just do this. No more. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to keep trying to pour my life out and see emptiness come out and know that something's not right inside the glass. Okay? No more. Not for me and not for you. Fair? All right. Thank Kristen with me. Lovely job. Not a drop on the carpet, I think.